Well, that sucked. The Browns lose 28-3 at home to the Baltimore Ravens. The largest point of intrigue heading into the game was Deshaun Watson being put on the inactive list on the morning of the game with his shoulder injury, meaning that Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR, would see his first regular season start. He was a preseason darling as a fifth-round pick out of UCLA as a rookie this preseason. And in this game, however, a much different story. He was very bad, looked like a late round rookie quarterback. You know, the defense, the skill obviously is increased even with some of the Ravens injuries, and the defensive playbooks, they're not going to be as basic, as vanilla as they are in the preseason, and it showed in this one. He threw two really bad interceptions, a third one on a desperate final play that, you know, a third interception, I guess the damage was already done by that point, but definitely two bad interceptions when the game was still technically within reach, and it could have been even more, as the Ravens did. They had a couple drops, or DTR had a couple bad throws where if a Raven was in the vicinity, it definitely would have been picked. It just so happens that there was no one there. Although I will say the game plan and the play calling on the offense did not help him out really one bit. The worst example being when it was still early in the game, they got a 7-yard run on first down, setting up second and third and 3, both of which were passing attempts, and that third down pass was the interception, which you don't even, you could at least try to run it one more time after that. There was an Elijah Moore end around that, first of all, was dead on arrival. That wasn't Elijah Moore's fault, but what was Elijah Moore's fault was him just running backwards for it seemed like 10 or 20 yards for no reason really. There was no salvaging that play once the Ravens knew what was going on. Although I guess that drive did result in the Browns' only points. That was technically the best Browns drive of the game. The rest of the game, the offense was just stuck in park. Run game didn't develop any consistency. DTR in the pass game wasn't operating very well. And that is a credit to the Ravens defense as well. I'm not just saying that, it was all because of the Browns' ineptitude and the Ravens had nothing to do with it. No, the Ravens defense, they've been very solid this year. They've held opponents to, they've given opponents a good they've definitely made it hard on their opponents to score, that's for sure. But the Browns, I don't think they helped themselves with any of that. The offensive line, honestly, in my opinion, hasn't really looked all that elite for the past few weeks now. There were plenty of offensive line penalties that ruined some positive plays, so a bit of a lack of discipline there. I feel like the wide receiver room this whole season, not just in this game but for the year, hasn't done a whole lot besides Amari Cooper. We've seen Donovan Peoples-Jones and Elijah Moore have some good plays, some good flashes here and there, but once you get past those three guys, no one else has really even made an impact this season. The defense, they did show some signs that they are human for the first time this season against the Ravens. They had a really rough second quarter, allowing a couple of long touchdown drives, although something that was pretty alarming about those was the poor tackling, allowing for some large plays for Baltimore. That definitely needs to not happen moving forward. I mean, it needs to not happen against the Ravens in a big divisional game, but you can't change the past, so the future focus for the defense has to be to clean up some of that sloppy tackling moving forward. But I thought outside of that second quarter, the defense actually did play pretty well still. The only first quarter points that the Ravens were allowed was after the first interception from DTR. The Ravens started that drive on the Browns 10, so giving up a touchdown there is definitely more than excusable. The Browns defense, I thought after that second quarter, when the second half started, they held the Ravens as long as they could. They did get another touchdown when the game was pretty much already out of hand and time was winding down, and even if the Browns defense held them to no score, probably wasn't enough time for the Browns to make up that what was then a 3-score deficit. So the first quarter was actually competitive from a score standpoint, but then again, the second quarter hit. Browns had no answer for the Ravens on either side of the ball. Second half was much better for the defense, but once again, the offense couldn't really get going for the Ravens. We saw Mark Andrews getting 2 touchdowns. He's always going to be a top receiving threat with him and Lamar Jackson having the chemistry that they have. Zay Flowers got the Browns on a couple big gains late in the first half. Zay Flowers kept a drive going for the Ravens that looked like it might have ended with the Browns maintaining still a 2-score game, but that touchdown from the touchdown that was for the first Mark Andrews reception made it a 3-score game. Zadarius Smith and Myles Garrett both having some injury scares on the defensive line, but they were able to get back in there and continue playing. Same thing with DeJuan Jones limping into the locker room, although I don't believe he came back out, and Ethan Posick actually went down twice. So both offensive and defensive line having some pop-up injuries here and there. So heading into the bye week, focus, I guess, is going to be on trying to, just get healthier in general, put together a game plan for the 49ers, because this Browns team looks like they're in no shape to compete against the 49ers right now, even if they are as healthy as they could be. And this game, while it is early in the season, this could have some pretty large implications moving forward, as because of the Steelers losing big to the Texans, the Browns could have been atop the AFC North if they finished this one with a W. Instead, they're going to be looking up at Baltimore, who now has a better record in general, the head-to-head advantage for now. I mean, and the way that this looked, I'm not so confident in the second going around is going to go any better in Baltimore. And Baltimore right now has a much better record in the AFC North, 2-0 right now, while the Browns fall to 1-2 in the division. Browns have put themselves in a bit of a hole here. Now, it is one they could climb out of. Again, it is still very early in the season. It's a long season. It's not even a quarter of the way done. There is still plenty of time to go. The Browns could definitely, string a few wins together, and they'd be in good shape. But this is the second big divisional game in a row where the offense has been a complete no-show against, again, stout defenses, but you have to put up some signs of life, and the defense can't do everything for this team. And if they are just going to crumple every time an opponent with a good defense shows up, then this team is doomed. Like, even if they do manage to win against teams that are worse than them and sneak into a wild card spot, then they'll just get pancaked by an actual team with an actual defense who can stop this offense that, without Nick Chubb for the past few weeks, it's been start and go. Again, they had a nice showing against Tennessee, but like I said last week, they don't get to play the Titans every week. And this is below the expectation of what they have for themselves. They don't just see themselves as a team that could maybe sneak into a wild card spot and then just get then be like heavy underdogs against a Super Bowl favorite and probably bounced out there. And I'm not saying that's what will happen, but I'm saying that is the direction that the Browns are currently trending in. And again, if that's what ends up happening, there might be some jobs at the end of the year. But again, we have a lot of time before that. I'm not saying fire everybody right now, although Kevin Stefanski is certainly, it's certainly looking like he's very hesitant to adapt to the game, even in obvious circumstances. It felt like this was the normal Kevin Stefanski playbook, that even with Deshaun Watson is hit or miss with some of the trickery and attempts at deception, but with DTR in there, it just didn't really make any sense, and it never had a chance of working. I know they don't get to play the Titans every week. I know the Titans beat the Bengals, but Cincinnati is its own dumpster fire right now. And the Browns, I guess, with this week, hopefully the Browns don't end up joining them here in the next few weeks with the bye week and then the 49ers coming in. If they look like garbage against the 49ers, then that's going to send a lot of the fan base into panic mode, especially with what we've been seeing against teams like the Steelers and the Ravens, where with the offense, you would expect them to at least show up a little bit. That Steelers game was completely winnable still. That was a one-score game where the defense did a lot to hold the Pittsburgh offense down, and the offense couldn't do anything. I'm talking about past games now, but for this game, this was just a terrible showing. I know DTR is a rookie, and he wasn't going to look as good in the regular season than he did in the preseason, but I don't think a lot of us were expecting him to look that bad in this game. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you did make it this far into the video, leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed it and like to see more like it. You can tell me what you thought about this game down in the comments below, and I'll see you at the next one.